Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast, where we provide you with your weekly diagnosis of everything fantasy football. Whether it's season-long leagues, dynasty, DFS, or sometimes even IDP, we got you covered all year long. Let's do it. Let's get to it. Welcome into the Fantasy Football Diagnostics Podcast. And of course, I'm your host, John June. And we got a little solo pod on this, actually, change the schedule here Monday morning as I record this. We had a little technical difficulties last night, so decided to get up here and record this solo this morning here on this Monday. So for the first time, I think almost ever, we will include some Monday Night Football. And we've done it a couple times, maybe just we maybe recorded at the end of Monday Night Football, so we might have thrown it in there. But we will recap all of the games, all the performances, obviously, studs, jags, run through the top 12s of each position, also cover some injuries, and also got to get the waiver wires as well. So definitely got all of it here covered. Greg will be back as soon as our technical difficulties resolve themselves, but I think we'll be okay. We'll see what happens. Anyway, starting with the quarterback stud of the week, and the number one quarterback on the week, that was Patrick Mahomes. My man was vintage Patty here, 35 of 50, 406 yards, 5 touchdowns, no interceptions, 36.24 PPR points there. Dude was just absolutely phenomenal on Sunday night. He just carved up that Raiders defense. Again, it was just vintage Patty. He made a couple crossbody throws. And you're like, whoa, Patty, we're gonna do that, but converts him for a touchdown. So no issues there. It was just a good performance by him. We're glad to see him continue to, if he could string 2 of these together, then that would be a trend in the right direction here for a guy who's probably the most talented player to play this position, just isn't playing his best football right now. The quarterback 2 on the week, that would be Dak Prescott. I mean, look, man, we were trying to tell you, especially Greg, he said the guy had started the week potential here. Didn't do it, though, but Dak Prescott, the QB2 on the week, 24-31, 296 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Also had two rush attempts for 5 yards and a touchdown there. 26.34 PPR points. Again, Dak Prescott just torched this Dallas Cowboys defense, or this Atlanta Falcons defense, rather. Just torched them. Again, they've been a defense that we've been picking on all year for the most part, and Dak Prescott continued that trend this week as he carved them up for 26 PPR points. This next one, hey, look, I said he'd be the QB1. I said it for 3 weeks in a row. Last week wasn't so great, but this week he's the QB3, top 3 quarterback, so we'll take it. That is Josh Allen, 21 of 28. 366 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Only added 2 rush attempts for 3 yards, but was good for 20.9 PPR points there. Again, Josh Allen against this Jets defense. I mean, probably sure it could have been more. It was 45-17 the final score here, so could have been potentially more points here for Josh Allen in a more competitive game. But hey, man, we'll take a top 3 finish from our guy here. And rounding out this top 12, Trevor Simeon Mack Jones and Trevor Simeon tie for QB4. Ryan Tannehill comes in at 6. Jalen Hurts is the QB7. Derek Carr 8. Kirk Cousins 9. Taylor Heineke 10. Lamar Jackson 11. And Jimmy Garoppolo 12. And the reason I'm laughing at the end there is because Taylor Heineke, Lamar Jackson, Jimmy Garoppolo all finished with 15.7 points or less, and they all finished as top 12 quarterbacks. I mean, we were kind of banging that drum. It was going to be a rough week for quarterbacks. So, Yeah, that was a that was definitely a tough one to. It was definitely a tough week to endure from the quarterback position, but some performances that stuck out to me. I mean, the highlighted one, right, has got to be Mack Jones. I mean, he looked phenomenal against the Cleveland Browns. I mean, there was a point where he was like 10 for 10 and 2 touchdowns on the day. He had, 3 total touchdowns, just under 200 passing yards. The kid just he looked really good. So probably a guy that we'll talk about later. So some honorable mentions here. Cam Newton, had 2 touchdowns in 2 plays. Came in, had a 1 yard rushing touchdown, and also came in on the next series and had a passing touchdown on the goal line. So I asked him how many plays did he know. He said 2 touchdowns worth. Hey, we'll take it. If we can get Cam Newton, I mean, especially if you play in 2 quarterback leagues, or even if you're looking for a streamer in 1 quarterback leagues, he might be able to help you out here. So definitely have to love that there. And then moving on to the Jags here on the week, and we got quite a few, especially if the quarterbacks played poorly. So Tom Brady, not a great game against the Washington football team. Multiple interceptions, just not a great day. Justin Herbert, have to start wondering what's going on there. This is a few bad performances within those last several games here. So have to wonder about the long-term outlook for Justin Herbert and whether you keep kind of blindly putting him in your lineup. Aaron Rodgers, Russell Wilson, start of the week for Greg. Matthew Stafford, a start of the week for me. Trevor Lawrence, my stream of the week. Carson Wentz. So, definitely was not a great week for quarterbacks. But we move on to the running back position. And the number one running back on the week, Terrell Williams, man. 11 attempts, 43 rushing yards, no touchdowns, but added 9 catches on 9 targets for 101 yards and a touchdown. So 29.4 PPR points. Again, there was no Clyde Edwards-Helaire in this one, so it was Terrell Williams and Derek Gore. And again, Terrell Williams getting this usage this time in the passing game, getting this volume that we've never seen Clyde Edwards-Helaire get. So, I mean, look, if it were up to me, Terrell Williams would be my starting running back. I mean, we've seen some performances from Clyde, but there was a reason why he wasn't getting the work that Terrell Williams is getting, right? And Terrell Williams is getting the work, and he's productive with the work. So why would you stop giving him this work when, again, Clyde, even though he was getting some work, wasn't all that productive, at least not this year. I know I've gone to bat for Clyde before, but I've always been, sneakily having this fantasy football crush on Terrell Williams, and my man's been playing well. So, yeah, I would continue to if I'm the Chiefs, continue to roll with them. But if you're obviously in fantasy, you have Terrell Williams, you have to hope that that's the case. But we'll see what happens for sure. And then Ramondre Stevenson, man, was balling. 20 carries, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also added 4 receptions for 14 yards, 27.4 PPR points against the Cleveland Browns. If you are a Damian Harris manager and you do not have Ramondre Stevenson, you are nervous right now because Stevenson balled out to the point where you have to wonder, will Damian Harris get that job back? And again, is Bill Belichick? You never know. We might could go from 20 carries to inactive next week. So definitely something to monitor there. But moving on to the RB3 on the week, that would be A.J. Dillon, 21 carries, 66 yards, 2 rushing touchdowns. Also added 2 receptions for 62 yards, 26.8 PPR points. My man A.J. Dillon came in at relief of Aaron Jones. Obviously, he had that work. He's always gonna get some work, but my man ends up with 21 carries here because Aaron Jones ends up with an MCL sprain potentially. I think we got that confirmed. So definitely, if AJ Dillon's available in your league, he's RB2 or more going forward for these next couple weeks, playing in this Aaron Rodgers-led offense. Has a lot of touchdown opportunity. We see that they're not afraid to give him volume, especially in the snow. Everyone remembers the AJ Dillon snow game from last year. But no, we definitely, if AJ Dillon's out there, definitely got to prioritize him in some leagues for these next few weeks while Aaron Jones is out. And then rounding out this top 12 here, CMC coming in at 4, Christian McCaffrey, Jonathan Taylor 5, Dearness Johnson 6, Antonio Gibson 7, Dalvin Cook 8, Mark Ingram also tied with Dalvin Cook for 8. Ezekiel Elliott comes in at 9 or 10 rather. James Robinson 11, and Michael Carter finishes as a top 12 back. In these guys in the top 12 that really stuck out to me, Christian McCaffrey. I mean, I was saying, hey, I feel like we're gonna get that CMC game from him, and we got that. 13 rush attempts, 95 yards. Also added 10 catches on 10 targets for 66 yards, 26.1 PPR points. Jonathan Taylor, his 6th straight game with 100 yards or touchdown, just continuing the ball there. Dearness Johnson didn't quite get 100 yards, but again, filling in for Nick Chubb. He's as good as a safety net running back as you could have right now because he's plug and play. If anything does happen to Nick Chubb and these Browns running backs, Mark Ingram filling in admirably for Alvin Kamara. James Robinson, it's good to have you back this week as an RB1. And then Michael Carter just continuing to get it done. Again, had 16 carries. Also saw six targets in the pass game. So we like that weekly volume that Michael Carter is beginning to see on a regular basis. In terms of the honorable mentions here, Najee Harris, had another solid day. Leonard Fournette, DeAndre Swift. But then some under the radar guys that really stuck out to me. Deontay Foreman. Deontay Foreman, he's a guy that had some talent, and he dealt with some injuries previously. But he looked good in Tennessee's backfield this weekend. Had some explosiveness, had some big plays there. So I'm definitely into Foreman as a bench stash of, picking him up, seeing if anything materializes. Moving on to, then we have Wayne Galman, who I, think was also, there's Cordero Patterson, had some news about him. That he might miss a couple weeks with that ankle injury. So Wayne Galman had 15 carries in this game. The game wasn't great, but they've got a game coming up this week against the New England Patriots. And so I think Galman has some usable value there. Moving on to the Jags, Alex Collins had a great matchup against Green Bay, filling in for Chris Carson, who was out again. No dice. Not a good performance there from Alex Collins. Myles Gaskin, we talked about him on Thursday or the Thursday night game. I guess we didn't talk about him because that game was trash. But Myles Gaskin, he was, again, not usable. Javonte Williams, that game, if you were on Denver, was pretty much terrible for all the Denver players involved. Teddy Bridgewater, Javonte Williams, I think Melvin Gordon scored a touchdown, but they got smoked. So, just not a great day. Just not a great week for Javonte. Jordan Howard, 12 carries, 80-something yards. It was okay. Josh Jacobs didn't come through. I was expecting to have a bigger day against Kansas City, but they couldn't keep that game as competitive. So, that's it with the running backs. Moving on to the wide receiver position. The number one wide receiver on the week is Deebo Samuel. My man is back. 5 catches, 5 targets, 97 yards, and a touchdown, 30.3 PPR points. Can't forget the 5 carries for 36 yards and a touchdown that he had. I don't know what it is, but the Niners, they have the Rams number. Kyle Shanahan has Sean McVay's number. Deebo Samuel has the Rams number. He's just always blowing up for these big games against the Rams. And so coming out as the number one wide receiver on the week. Yeah, gotta love that. Stephon Diggs, my wide receiver start of the week, coming in as the wide receiver 2, 8 catches on 13 targets, 162 yards and a touchdown, 30.2 PPR points. There was nothing that the Jets could do to stop Stephon Diggs. Kind of saw this one coming. There was just no, the secondary's banged up. They lost Marcus May. Stephon Diggs was just going to eat up this New York Jets secondary, and I expect that secondary to continue to get eaten alive there. The wide receiver 3 on the week, CeeDee Lamb. Gotta love that for the brand, man. CeeDee Lamb was my breakout, and we love CeeDee Lamb on this show. So, man, 6 catches, 7 targets, 94 yards, 2 touchdowns. Also added a rush attempt for 12 yards, 28.6 PPR points. My fantasy teams were happy this weekend. Moving on, as we break down this top 12, Tyreek Hill comes in at 4, Kendrick Bourne 5, Cooper Kupp 6, Justin Jefferson 7, Devontae Smith 8, Bryan Edwards 9, Keenan Allen tied with Bryan Edwards for 9. Hunter Renfrow comes in at 11, and Ray McLeod comes in as the wide receiver 12. Tyreek Hill, 2 touchdowns. When Patrick Mahomes is rolling, Tyreek is probably going to be rolling too. Kendrick Bourne, he's continuing to have a solid season. I was reading this courtesy of one of my friends who's a Patriots fan, but Kendrick Bourne's career high in receiving is like 600 yards right now through 10 weeks, 10 games. Kendrick Bourne has 500 yards, so 7 games left to play. He's probably going to crush that season high there. But Justin Jefferson absolutely balled out, 9 catches for 143 yards. Just balled. Devontae Smith, 2 touchdowns there. I mean, that's 2 good games in a row for Devontae Smith. So, Jalen Hurts putting it all together in the pass game to get the ball to his number 1 receiver. Keenan Allen just again continuing to be the lead guy in this Chargers offense. Hunter Renfrow just continuing the dog. Hey, I said it. He's a wide receiver 1 this week. Finished as such. And then Ray McLeod, man, that one, surpriser of the week there at the wide receiver position, but 12 targets, and that's nothing to sneeze at. Usually when a random guy comes in here, it's because he caught a touchdown or 2 touchdowns or something like that. But Ray McLeod, 12 targets, you got to love that one. So obviously there was no Chase Claypool, Juju Smith-Schuster's out for the year. Mason Rudolph was the starting quarterback, so there's a lot of different variables at play here, but curious to see if Ray McLeod can keep this up as the season. As these next few weeks go on, however long Chase Claypool was out. Some honorable mentions though. Jacoby Myers caught his first touchdown, so happy about that. Congrats to the kid. Albert Wilson, man, he looked really good on Thursday night, so. If he's going to continue to be involved, then we might have to scoop that man up. My man can make plays. Jamal Agnew. It was funny because I was on the fence. I was like, oh, Jamal Agnew, Marvin Jones, Jamal Agnew, Marvin Jones. But here was Jamal Agnew getting it done. I think most of it came on a 66-yard rushing touchdown. So phenomenal by him. Gabe Davis, 4 catches for 105 yards. I mean, I said it. I think Gabe Davis is even in play against the Jets. I'm telling you, it's gonna be like this for a while, man. I mean, there's nobody in that secondary. Bryce Hall, Michael Carter, the second. I mean, that's it. Those are only 2 guys for 2 of the 5 guys that are on the field like 90% of the time in the Jets secondary. So it's gonna be a struggle for the rest of the year. Elijah Moore, speaking of the New York Jets, another game, another touchdown. Believe that's three in his last. No, it's got to be four of his last 5 games that he has a touchdown. He has 4 touchdowns in his last 4 games, I think it was. But either way, Elijah Moore, he's been balling. And when he's on a roll like this, when somebody's on a roll like this, he's, NBA Jams rules apply. My man is on fire, so you just got to keep rolling him out there. In terms of the Jags at the position this week, Amari Cooper, we've seen CeeDee Lamb ball. Amari Cooper doesn't. It's happened quite a few times and quite frustrating, and especially if you roster Amari Cooper, he does have is dealing with a hamstring injury, so have to see how much that affects him. Well, we don't know how much that affects him, so definitely frustrating if you are the Amari Cooper manager, watching CeeDee Lamb get all this work, and Amari Cooper does nothing. DJ Moore did not have a great day, but this one I'm not overly concerned about. And this one I might actually use as an opportunity to go buy DJ Moore because the Carolina Panthers were leading in this game, and they had some turnovers, they had some short fields, and so DJ Moore, there's no need for him to really be that involved in this one. And then you understand that the situation at quarterback probably gets better here with Cam Newton and DJ Moore. Cam Newton, they already have a rapport here. I think DJ Moore is going to, we're going to get DJ Moore on the second half of this season or this down the stretch, these 6-7 games here. DJ Moore is going to ball. So definitely looking to buy some DJ Moore if I can. DK Metcalf didn't have a great day. We thought that this Russell Wilson could lift this Seahawks offense. Didn't really happen that day, but hey, next week I'm sure it'll happen. Cortland Sutton, this is one that I'm definitely concerned. Again, I said it before. I think Cortland Sutton is talented, right? Cortland Sutton is not playing hurt or injured to our knowledge. There isn't a quarterback change. Even when Jerry Jeudy was here week 1, these guys were able to coexist. What happened isn't happening because of Jerry Jeudy. It started happening sometime before Jerry Jeudy returned. In terms of when I say what happened or this, I'm talking about the decrease in target share for Cortland Sutton. So when I see something like that, there is a world where it bounces back, right? It shifts back, right? There's a reason maybe teams are paying extra attention to Cortland Sutton, or they're doing something or whatever, and he's not getting those targets now, but it's going to correct itself at some point. Cortland Sutton is a good enough player. He's a great player, so it should definitely shift at some point to the point where Cortland Sutton is seeing, 18, 19%, 20% of the team targets again. So it's coming. It's coming for sure. Just how long we have to wait. Maybe we could stash him on. Maybe we put him on the bench for now until we see it. That's something we'll have to talk about. But definitely something that is a tricky situation to manage. This next one, not as tricky. Mike Williams. I wasn't a fan going into this week. He's, and again, I was a big Mike Williams guy. At the beginning of the year, I said, hey, look, Mike Williams, he's balling. Even before the season started, I said, hey, go get Mike Williams, man, because the man is going to ball here. And he started out balling, but he's tailed off. Had a dropped touchdown on Sunday. It just has not been a great stretch of weeks for Mike Williams. So you have to hope that he will bounce back from it. Because he's only got really 2 options. It's either he starts playing better or the Chargers, they put that early replacement in for Josh Palmer. So, we'll definitely have to see. But moving on to the tight end position, tight end stud of the week, the number 1 guy, Travis Kelsey, 8 catches on 10 targets, 119 yards, 19.9 PPR points. So definitely the tight end 1 on the week. My wife was surprised to see Travis Kelsey have such a wonderful performance, considering She follows his girlfriend on Instagram, and Travis Kelsey was out partying in Vegas on Saturday night. So they had a game in Vegas. Obviously, he was out partying, and uh, plays on Sunday night, has a great game. So maybe Travis Kelsey needs to go out and party some more to be the tight end one. Who knows? Hunter Henry comes in as a tight end 2 on the week. I don't know what the situation was with Jonnu Smith, but he was inactive. Don't know what that could have potentially led to for Hunter Henry. We'll have to check the numbers on that. But 4 catches, 4 targets, 37 yards, 2 touchdowns, 19.7 PPR points. So we'll take that. The tight end 3 in a week, Mark Andrews, 6 catches, 63 yards on 8 targets, 1 touchdown, 18.3 PPR points. We spoke about that game on Thursday. But the rounding out this top 12, Tyler Conklin, it's about damn time. We've been banging the drum here for you for weeks, and you finally get it done. Me and Greg both picked him as our stream of the week. Took 2 touchdowns to get it done, but I'm not going to cry about it. I'm going to take it how I can get it. George Kittle coming in as the tight end 5. Gerald Everett 6. Dan Arnold 7. Austin Hooper 8. Tyler Higbee 9. Noah Fant 10. Al O 11. And Kyle Pitts coming in as the tight end 12. In these top 12 guys that stuck out to me, like I said, Tyler Conklin, 2 touchdowns. We'll take it. George Kittle, my man, is back. Tyler Higbee, man, that one is crazy. It's crazy to imagine. It's crazy to think my man finished at the tight end 9 because he had a terrible game. Terrible. Dropped at least 2 passes, one that led to an interception. My man was a pick 6 with that. My man is terrible. He was terrible on Sunday. But finished the tight end 1, so we're not going to hate it. The Jags on the week, though. TJ Hawkinson, man. I go and pick my man as my tight end start of the week. My man was on a 32% target share. But when the year started, or, when the week started, last 3 games, 32%. Man put out a big fat 0 on us on Sunday, man. So, TJ Hawkinson, you owe us an apology, and we will accept it in the form of you playing better next week. You know why? Because I had a league and I lost by 1.22 points. And so basically, if TJ Hawkinson catches 1 pass for 3 yards, I'm okay. But he came out with 0, so I'm not okay. And to make it worse, I dropped Tyler Conklin. So, Darren Waller. What's going on there, bro? He's still the tight end 4 on the year in PPR points per game. So this performance, it's not great, but it just highlights a streak of underwhelming performances for Darren Waller. That's really what it does. It just makes you realize that he has not been that great, like that level of Travis Kelsey and even George Kittle, who's back, and Mark Andrews recently. Like, he hasn't been in that conversation. I mean, he's been there by name. I mean, he had a decent week last week, but on the year, you're just pretty much overall, you're underwhelmed by what Darren Waller has put together. So, that kind of rounds out these, this wide receiver position, or, the top 12s here. But let's move on to the injuries. And so Aaron Jones, as I mentioned, MCL sprain, he'll be out 1 to 2 weeks. Cordell Patterson, he's got an ankle injury, so he'll be out 2 to 3 weeks. So we definitely have to protect ourselves there. But we got to also talk about the waivers. So let's run through the waivers. Let's start with the quarterback position. And the first one, this is all compliments of Greg here. I'm going to put my own twist on it a little bit, though. But Greg is the one that usually handles the waiver wire report, so gotta give credit where credit is due. Mack Jones, rostered in 28% of Yahoo leagues, gets to go against Atlanta this week. Found his stride in this offense, has been more aggressive downfield. Yards per attempt were the second highest of the season at 8.6. Also, over the last 3 weeks, New England is fourth in the NFL in yards per attempt. So you got an excellent matchup versus Week 11 in against Atlanta in Week 11. Just got lit up by Dak Prescott, Mack Jones, not Dak Prescott, but they both got three-letter names. So Mac, Dak, Mac Daddy, Dak Daddy. We'll see what happens, but Mac, I think, gets it done this Thursday night against the Atlanta Falcons. So definitely got to like that. The other quarterback here, we'll see, but Trevor Simeon, 4% going up against Philadelphia. Both of his games, he's got over 200, well, almost 240. Well, he's got 249 passing yards, 298 yards, 2 touchdowns in each game. Playing against Philadelphia next week, where they're giving up right around average fantasy points to the quarterback position. As long as Trevor Simeon continues to be Sean Payton's guy. I mean, they have lost 2 straight under Trevor Simeon. Not his fault though. I think that Trevor Simeon could have some success here against Philadelphia. And then Tua Tagovailoa, rostered in 23% of Yahoo leagues. Greg has a note here. Whoever's determined to be the starting quarterback should be able to thrive in this matchup, but Tua has already been named the starter. I think he thrives in this matchup here, like Greg said. Like I said off the top, I mean, the Jets have a multitude of injuries in the secondary, a lot of inexperience. There's going to be I'm expecting a lot of miscommunication, a lot of, just persistent issues that are going to plague them. So Tua Tagovailoa, fabulous start this week against the Jets. Running back, Ramondre Stevenson has top 15 upside with Damian Harris hurt. He's rostered here in 32% of Yahoo leagues. He may have locked the potential to earn more carries here from Damian Harris, even when he's healthy. But either way, he's a nice high upside safety net running back to roster, especially came with catch stresses enough, especially if you have Damian Harris. So gotta love that here this week with Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, my man's been balling since preseason, so he's been on the radar here. So you gotta scoop him up if he's available in your league. And then in deeper leagues, I know I spoke about him earlier, but Deontay Foreman saw 11 carries, most at the position. Greg's not too high on him, but he says he could have some RB3 weeks rest of season. I think the fact that it looks like a committee right now, definitely a little concerning if you are looking for a running back. But what I see is a guy that saw a little bit of work 2 weeks ago, saw even more work this week, and again, got to follow that trend line. So is he going to see even more work the next week? Is he going to siphon some work here from, a 37-year-old Adrian Peterson and Jeremy Nichols that, hasn't shown much in 2 weeks. So, I like Deontay Foreman, rostered again in 4% of Yahoo leagues. So he is available, and you shouldn't have to go too crazy to get him. Ty Johnson, rostered 19% of Yahoo leagues. He's finished in PPR top 25. He's basically finished as a PPR top 25 running back 3 weeks in a row. Finishes the RB 31 the week before that streak. So we have 4 weeks of data telling us that Johnson can be a safe RB3 option for a heavy negative game script team. Season high in routes this week at 20. Found the end zone in 3 of the last 4 weeks as well. My man Ty Johnson is balling. I'm curious to see what happens. Zach Wilson's going to be inserted back into the starting lineup most likely. So we know Mike White was targeting running backs at a very high rate. I think at one point it was as high as 40% of the team targets were going to running backs. That included Ty Johnson. Curious to see if Zach Wilson keeps that trend going. Moving on to the wide receiver position. I'm just going to throw this list out here because all of these guys have upside, for their own reason. for their own reasons. Rashad Bateman, rostered in 50% of Yahoo leagues. Elijah Moore, rostered in 51% of Yahoo leagues. And then Michael Gallup, rostered in 53% of Yahoo leagues. So Rashad Bateman, again, we spoke about him on Thursday, but he plays in this Baltimore Ravens offense, which is known for not throwing the ball a ton, but they're throwing the ball more. And Bateman was on the field for that. And even with Sammy Watkins healthy, he was still running as the number 2 receiver alongside Hollywood Brown. So you got to love that. Elijah Moore, we already spoke about him. My man is NBA Jam rules. He's on fire right now. You got to keep plugging him out there because he makes plays. And, Zach Wilson's coming back. Either those two, they formed a good connection. I know that a lot of this production has been with Mike White, but all in all, I think the thought is Zach Wilson would be better for having sat and learned, and I think Elijah Moore benefits from that. Michael Gallup, again, 53% of Yahoo leagues, but he's the third receiver in this Dallas Cowboys offense, which could have some value, especially if they're playing in these higher over-under games, have a little back and forth to them. And I think they get one of those this week. So I like Michael Gallup as a guy. So if I had to rank these guys, it would definitely be Bateman 1, Elijah Moore 2, and then Michael Gallup 3. I say Bateman is 1 because he already has that role as the number 2 receiver, plays in a good offense with a good quarterback. Elijah Moore, I have him as 2 because he has less competition for targets. Elijah Moore he was a second round pick this year by this regime. So Corey Davis, we know that he's been, the number 1 target for a while, but I think that there's a world where Elijah Moore could be the number 2 target very easily, but could also siphon some targets, compete with Corey Davis for that number 1 receiver, where Michael Gallup will always be the Dallas Cowboys number 3 receiver, at least for this season, unless something happens with an injury or anything. But he's got that upside built into him. So definitely like all 3 of these guys. At the tight end position, a lot of these guys available. Tyler Conklin, 30% of Yahoo leagues. Dan Arnold, I don't know what is it about Dan Arnold that people don't like. Man, 26% of Yahoo leagues has been a tight end 1 almost every week. Yeah, he doesn't catch a touchdown, but man, he's been a tight end 1. He's been a tight end 1 almost every week. Al O, 1% of Yahoo leagues. Adam Troutman, 5% of Yahoo leagues. So these guys are available. They're out there. If you need a tight end, go get them. Which of these guys do I need to spend big on? I don't think I'm spending big on any of them, honestly. Quarterbacks, I'm never going to spend big on a quarterback unless you're streaming and you got to get the top guy. Mack Jones would probably be where I would go, but I would be comfortable, Mack Jones, Tua. I would rank it Mack Jones, Tua, then Trevor Simeon. Running back, Ramondre Stevenson. I mean, look at the upside that this guy has. He's not going to score 2 touchdowns every week, but he's up over 5 yards per carry. The dude's just explosive. He's got that pass down ability as well. So to me, he has a ton of upside. I'd probably prioritize him as the guy to go get. Again, what could happen with Belichick and them, but the upside is worth it. And so definitely like that. Deontay Foreman, I would probably prioritize him. Slightly ahead of Ty Johnson. Ty Johnson's role is probably not going to get much bigger unless there's like an injury to Michael Carter or something. But Deontay Foreman could potentially have a more sizable role here. So I'm going to go with Foreman. Then I already ranked the receivers and at tight ends. It would go Conklin, Arnold, Al-O, and then Troutman. He's been making a lot of football errors that are like, prone to get any coach angry. And so I just can't imagine that Sean Payton will just continue to roll Adam Troutman out there if he continues to hurt the offense. But we'll see what happens. But ladies and gentlemen, that is it, y'all. It's always good to hang with y'all. Next time, hopefully, Greg is here too. We'll have our problems figured out, all of our issues resolved. But until next time, y'all, we will talk to y'all on Wednesday when we discuss the Thursday night football preview, give out our streams of the week.